You're listening to Down the Rabbit Hole with Scarlet Squire, Matthew Webster, and Dr. Den.
Yeah, good morning. Cool Radio Cambridge here. With a new title for our show called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Love it, and I actually absolutely love the sweeper as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, it feels like you're getting in the mood. You're actually going down.
Oh dear. Unfortunately, Matt can't join us today. I think he's up to other things. I'll have to have a word with him about that. We come first.
Yeah, you better be listening.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so technology conspiracies.
Okay, yeah.
Have you got a list? Because I've got a list as long as you're on.
It's all consuming, Den. It's all that consumes my brain constantly.
Really?
Yeah, that amongst other things. General lack of trust about most things in life. But
that's interesting.
Technology is one that is... I love it. I find it so interesting, but also at the same time terrifying and... Yeah.
Yeah, it is terrifying. Actually. When you're my age, you've gone from very rarely seeing programs about what computers are and how they work and what the future holds for them. Yeah. When I was young, they were like rocking horse poo. You couldn't find them anywhere. To where we are today is just absolutely amazing.
Well, I've even seen, I'm not saying you're this old, but a Victorian cartoon.
Nearly.
That had predictions from, I think it was predictions for the year 2020. Right. And some of them aren't far off.
No.
What we have today. So like headsets, mobile phones.
Yeah.
I didn't think they knew what it was. But yeah, we still don't have flying cars.
Not yet.
Which is always...
It's always the first thing, isn't it?
And I don't know, what is the need?
Don't know.
Why?
Don't know. It's very difficult to monitor that. But you say that. My grandfather used to smoke. Yeah. He used to smoke a particular brand called Players. I'm not sure if they're still around. But they used...
when I was at uni, yeah.
They used to give away cigarette cards. So you would get a little card. And they'd done a future set. And basically there were things like... colour TVs they predicted, the flying car, landing on the moon, all these different things that have actually 99% of them have come true. And they were in the 1920s, 1930s. So that's quite interesting. I've still got them all because they're just like, they're amazing.
Are they collectors now?
I don't know whether they are, but I've got a full set. And they're in colour. They're just really nice cards.
Yeah.
But it was the content that attracted me because I've got ones with butterflies, countries, all different things, flags that the cigarette companies used to give away. And the other one was PG Tips.
Oh, yeah.
They did stuff. They give away cards, like flags of the world and soccer stars and
it's
things
funny
like
how
that.
like even 30 years ago, that was entertainment for kids.
Yeah, it was. Collecting cards.
From a PG Tips.
Absolutely. Whatever.
So we've come miles. We've come leaps.
Yeah. The other thing is, as a side thing, I collect stamps.
Yeah.
And now everything I got, I can load it up digitally, scan it. It will tell me everything about that stamp.
Oh.
And give me a value and everything. So.
Yeah.
That's just by taking a photograph of a single stamp.
I was watching something the other day about this. He was a guy in America who heard a horror story one day. Everyone was telling ghost stories about this girl that was found in a tent. The girl telling the story said her father found once a dead body, and it was a girl in a tent. And it really stuck with him, and he spent his whole life, he really got obsessed with trying to work out who this girl was. Because she's got a gravestone that just says girl in a tent. And he thought, she needs a story. And this is this is 1992, so the internet's just starting up. So he gathered all this information from papers, got them all together, tried to find missing people. But back then he didn't have technology, so he actually uploaded everything he had onto the internet when it was literally at the point where people were loading it up with
Right.
with content, and he actually created the first, what we now know as a missing persons database,
Oh, cool.
where people could search and
Wow,
and
that's
he
brilliant.
did actually find out who it was.
He did.
Yeah,
That's brilliant.
yeah. But that's pre-internet, and it was funny. It was just funny that he said, like, you know, we were loading up, that the internet needed people to fill it up with information,
Yeah.
and you just think, well, yeah, of course, it had to start somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, most of them started as bulletin boards, didn't they? That's how it really all started.
Yeah, sort of like forums. For
Yeah, that's right.
no
yeah.
one really knew what to do with it.
No, the first one I belonged to was a radio amateur one.
Oh, cool.
And it was put together by a load of American radio amateurs, and you just sort of contributed, asked questions, and they give you answers,
Yeah.
which was really cool. Because while I was studying to become an amateur, I could go on and ask questions, and they would help out, give me the sort of answers to quite difficult questions sometimes that you couldn't ask anybody else
Yeah.
unless they were in that or done that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, bulletin boards were great, and of course the internet has taken over now.
Well, that is everything.
It
That's
is.
the root of everything. It's
Yeah.
the launch, isn't it?
Yeah, there's also a weird. I was looking at something the other day. Basically, this guy's got an arm, a robotic arm on his desk, and you can log in, create an account, log in, and then you can control his robotic arm over the internet.
Well, don't
So
tell
you
that
can-
to the students that
you
are trying
can
to be working from home.
Get it to do things, and he's got all these sorts of things around the table that you can learn to pick up and stuff like that.
See, I
So
think
it's
I'm
gone a
quite-
long way.
Yeah, I think I'm quite naive in thinking that robotics is still quite basic. I mean, they can do advanced things, but they're
Yeah.
not independently. But maybe we're just not being told
Yeah,
it all.
there was a case in America, I think it was last year, where somebody was operated on by a robot. It was controlled by somebody, but because they needed exact, precise movements, they did it, believe it or not, through a screen,
Yeah.
through a robot. The robot actually did the cutting and everything else, and it was amazing to watch. And they said really intricate surgery, brain surgery, stuff
Yeah.
where you need really precise, fine movements, this is the way to go. And they're even saying that if you scan somebody's head, you can put that into the program where this robot is, and you can just tell it exactly what you want it to do and leave it, and it will automatically do it,
Wow.
which is scary.
Yeah.
You know, if it decides to have an error
Well.
in the program at some point, it cuts your brain out.
Yeah.
That's the scary side of it.
But there are people that love all that stuff, and they'll be guinea pigs. There was a man that wanted his whole head transplanted, didn't he?
That's right.
I don't think that worked out very. I don't know. Never heard anything about it since.
I don't know whether they did it or not.
I guess it didn't go. To
Well, if it did, they kept it quiet because
Yeah.
it obviously wasn't very successful.
yeah. 'Cause I haven't heard anything about it since. I just thought this crazy guy.
Yeah, because it's the spinal cord thing. That's the problem with that.
Yeah.
Is reconnecting the spinal cord.
I think it's just like the whole technology movement. I think I'm that weird generation where I knew my childhood didn't had TV. That's all the focus was TV. Top of the Pops on a Friday. That was it. And I probably didn't use the internet till I was about, I'd say maybe 7, 8,
Not that long ago.
maybe
then.
later. But there wasn't much to do on the internet. It was
No.
boring because there wasn't
No.
much to do. Then when I was at school, we had MSN and things like that. And,
Yeah.
and downloading music was a massive thing.
Yes.
But there was so many viruses and no one really knew how to use it. And of course, then it was dial-up. So
Yeah, that's right. It was dial-up. Yeah.
yeah. But
I
then
had no-
now, you know, and then I remember the first bit of technology. I thought, wow, this is like revolutionary. Was the iPod.
Yes. Yeah. All
And
of
I
a sudden.
loved that, and I've still got the first iPod.
Yeah, I've got an what they call them, the video cassette ones, the very first ones of those. What did they call them? Walkmans.
Yeah,
Got a Sony Walkman, and then I went on to the Sony Walkman disc, which was the CD one.
which I had that, and I used to buy it to school, and every time we'd go over a bump, it would skip.
That's right. And then I bought I think it was a Toshiba.
Mini disc.
No,
No.
it was a it looked like a USB drive, but it was actually a USB player. You downloaded your songs on it, and you could listen to, I think at that point, it was 100 songs,
Yeah.
which was a lot
Yeah.
in those days, because if you think about 20 on a DVD, on a CD,
Yeah.
100 songs was like having 5 albums. It was brilliant. And then, of course, the iPod come along,
Yeah.
and now it's just ridiculous. You don't need an iPod.
No.
You just need a phone that can receive, and
I-
companies like iTunes and what's the other big one?
Spotify. Yeah.
You can listen to anything you want.
And we literally just had conversations about this in the classroom, and I've been thinking it for ages. I always think this generation of kids are so lucky.
Absolutely.
In one sense,
Yeah.
whatever they want, they can have then and there instantly on a plate for them.
Yeah.
They have access to any song they want to listen to in the world.
Yeah, I know.
Any song.
Scary, isn't
When
it?
I was younger, we used to have to wait for that song to either come on the radio and record it with tape, or wait for it to come on a music channel.
Yeah.
And that was the only time you heard it.
Yeah, that's
or
right.
you bought a CD.
You used to listen to Top of the Pops on a Sunday and
Yeah.
record them on a cassette.
Any
All
film
the songs
in
you
the
wanted.
world you want to watch, you can find on the internet.
That's right. It's crazy.
I remember being about, my teenage years, and we'd sit there in a park being like, how amazing would it be if you could just get McDonald's delivered right here, right now? And we'd go, oh my gosh, imagine. Could you imagine? Or we get pizza right here.
They're all doing it
And
now.
You can get one delivered wherever you want. We could get a
Absolutely.
pizza here now. It'd
Yes.
be here in 25 minutes.
Yeah. No, you're making me hungry.
Anything at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah. I think things have changed, especially from my day when I was at school. We had a BBC computer, which was considered the business.
Was it the green one? Green and black screen?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah. It was amazing. And when I sort of left school, I purchased an Atari 800, which was the big one. Learnt to program on that, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
That was cool. And I used to go into all the shops in Tottenham Court Road, because I worked in the West End in Soho. Used to go in all the shops in Tottenham Court Road that had computers up and type in little programs that sort of said good morning on their computers, or Den was here, and them sort of things. It would just keep rolling different screens. But it was good fun. I enjoyed it, but it's just moved on so much now.
So your opinion, well, let's talk about right now. We're at 2020. We don't have flying cars, but we do have all these amazing things. What's your opinion? Are they amazing, or are they?
I think, well, yeah, you can say everything's amazing. It's just when you start looking down that rabbit hole, you suddenly realise that everything you've got can be used for other things.
Yes.
That's where we come from on our show, the conspiracies, what's going on. One of the ones I've got written here, which is the first one, which was the 5G virus activated. Do you remember that show we did?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we discussed that 5G was able to activate a virus because they code it with a frequency. That's been proven. So there was conspiracies that 5G was causing coronavirus, which is not true, because it's not the sort of thing that will act to frequencies.
But we spoke the other day, does the frequency from the 5G affect your cells, therefore making you ill? So it doesn't cause the virus, but could it potentially make you ill?
Listen, they've been saying that for years about 2G, 3G, 4G, all of it. It's radio. When radio first came out, people thought that if they stood near an aerial transmitter, they'd get fried.
Well, there's real conspiracy theorists who believe that every single global pandemic has coincided with an advance in technology. So the Spanish flu was around the time when the radio was really, when they did the transatlantic communication.
Yeah.
So that's why people think...
That was just after the war, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't know. But how can you say who's right and who's wrong? Because I can understand why people would think that. Because I personally, we've got so much stuff that we can't see that's passing through our bodies, electromagnetic waves. They're passing through us all of the time, and it must do something to our cells.
There's a very famous case which it was close to where I was living at the time. I'm not going to say where it was, but it was in Hertfordshire. Bob Wilson, the ex-England goalkeeper and Arsenal goalkeeper,
Yeah.
he lived right next to a large transmission station for radio and telephone, and his daughter developed cancer, and they were convinced it was because of where they lived and the amount of radio waves and all sorts of stuff, because they had huge satellite dishes, everything there, and they think that she was affected by the radio.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm trying to get my brain to go back that far. I believe he actually took the company that owned it to court, and they won it because they did tests and they said, yeah, the radio frequencies here are extremely high, and you shouldn't be here.
No.
And there was a whole row of houses there. So, but he's now got a charity for his daughter. I can't remember what the charity is.
Oh, so she's still alive,
but
she's not very well.
I'm not sure whether she's still alive, but I know the charity is still there, and they do a lot of stuff for children's cancer and
Well, look,
bits and
how
pieces.
do they treat cancer tumours?
radio.
With radiotherapy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It has a shrinking effect,
it's
doesn't
sort
it?
of
Good, bad.
You know, if it's not controlled, could it have the opposite effect? For
Well, when you
example?
go and have an X-ray, they cover you in lead, so you
Mm.
don't, your body doesn't get zapped with it,
Yeah.
which is quite scary.
Is that see? So it's dangerous.
Absolutely.
People were saying that when these 5G towers were going out, that's why people were actually burning them down.
Yes.
Loads of the wildlife around it was, you know, there was dead birds all down the M25.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But
If you sit on an antenna and turn it on, then there's a good chance a bird, something like that, will get fried
yeah,
internally.
because they're using the electromagnetic magnets, aren't they, to navigate? So
Yeah,
they'll probably
it
get.
screws them up. Yeah.
But my partner once did some work on the BT tower at Tottenham Court Road,
All right.
and the man said, "Do not stand in front of that satellite.
Satellite dish. Yeah.
Yeah, do
'Cause
not
it'll
stand
fry
in
you.
front of it; it will
Yeah.
fry you." Yeah.
Yeah.
And a guy I was working with actually had a migraine, had to leave.
Yeah. Oh, listen. Radio is something we still don't fully understand.
Exactly.
Because the radio waves that we're sending out now will continue forever, going out into the universe, into the cosmos.
Yeah.
So there could be a little green man in 2 million years' time that says, oh, I'm a big fan of that radio station, I'm going to tune in. You know, it's one of those things, it just continually goes out, so you never know. I mean, if it's that powerful to transmit that far,
Yeah.
it's just weird. But
So-
yeah, radio, bit different. 5G, we covered that before.
Well, 5G now is they're rolling it out to basically connect everything. So there's a theory that 5G is going to be everywhere.
Yeah.
And sort of like street lights are going to be fitted with 5G. It's just a sort of bus stop, just everywhere.
Right.
So you only have to literally, well, this is a few years in advance, call out loud, you know, Google or whatever, Alexa, order me a cab. Don't even have to pull the device out anymore
No.
because the connection's going to be so much stronger.
Yeah. Something similar to that we'd sort of move away from 5G a bit for a minute, is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, known as HARP.
HARP. Okay.
Yeah. This is a ton of antennas laid out in, I believe it's in America. And it says what it is. It's Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. So they're sending out radio waves and God knows what else
To space.
into space. But what's happening is apparently there's rumours now that they can control the weather.
Yeah, I've heard this.
You've heard that.
Yeah.
So all this sort of stuff. And there's also rumours that they can bring a plane down just by broadcasting a particular frequency where it shuts off everything in the plane.
See, that I can believe.
Yeah,
I think
this is possible.
Frequencies are a powerful, powerful thing that people shouldn't really tamper with, but also people don't really know a lot about them.
No.
Because the Earth itself has a natural frequency.
It does.
It vibrates at, is it 7.5
Something like that.
hertz?
Yeah,
At the minute, it's vibrating at about 10.
that's right.
Because there's so much
Stuff going on.
stuff going on.
Yeah.
and that is also it's like cause and effect type thing, because the Earth is vibrating at a higher frequency. I think people's natural vibrations are off key. Would make a lot of sense to explain the state of the world at the minute.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things to do with this harp that people have linked it to.
Right. The weather thing, I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
Because America's always been known, for example, for having crazy weather because of the how big it is.
Yeah.
They basically have their own weather system. They've got every single weather imaginable,
That's right.
Tornadoes. We don't have tornadoes in this country because it's not big enough.
Well, we do, but they're about 2 inches tall.
Yeah. I mean, knocks a bin over.
Yeah.
And a couple of crisp packets. But that's about it, really.
Yeah, nothing ever happens.
They can't get the momentum to get across
the
country.
It's they always start out as sea for some reason and then swip across the country. Tornado Valley.
Yeah, and obviously, places like Japan, Indonesia, they have a lot of earthquakes because they're on a tectonic
They're
plate.
on a fractured line,
Loads of volcanoes, and so that's just, I'm not sure. What would be the need to control the weather?
For food, basically. If you've got a drought, can we have some rain, please? Yeah, push a button. I think the scientists are saying if they're doing it, then that would be why they're doing it. They're doing it for good.
See, I automatically think evil.
Yes. Yeah, of course you do.
Evil.
Yeah.
So basically just to cause mass destruction.
Yeah, I mean your black cape and hood gives that away. I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about it yet to make a proper assessment of it, to be honest. There's so much going on. It's going to take me about 6 months to read it all.
Yeah. Well, if that is something, then can we have a bit of sun in England?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think we've lost the 4 seasons we had. We've now got 2.
What's that? Rain and...
It's summer and winter.
Yeah.
They're the 2 seasons. We don't have autumn and spring anymore.
It's not been that cold recently. I forget every year. The coldness comes in January and February.
Yeah.
When it's freezing.
Yeah. But it used to be November.
Yeah.
November, December, January, February.
Yeah.
They were or January. Was it? November, December, January was your winter.
Well,
February, March, April was your spring. May, June, July was your summer. August, September, October, your autumn.
Well, yeah.
We don't have that anymore.
Right,
we can never tell.
No.
But anyway, there you go.
Maybe because they're messing with maybe that's what's caused global warming.
Yeah, we don't know. Oh, it's scary. Okay, there's another thing I brought up before, technology-wise, which we discussed briefly, but I was looking into it again, is electric cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got that written down on my in my notes.
So, what's your thing on electric cars?
Electric cars, I think, are a great idea, and actually, to reduce CO2 emissions and to save the planet, they're the way forward. But electric cars have been around since, you might correct me if I'm wrong, 1983.
Okay. You're only 100 years out.
100 years out?
1890 was the first electric car.
Really?
Yeah. The first car as we know it.
Yeah.
Because they used them for trams and stuff from the early 1900s. They were all electric. But as cars as we know it were the Fords and AMCs in 1960. Now, both Ford and AMC were approached by the oil companies and given huge amounts of money to scrap them and not develop them any further.
Yeah.
We're talking billions.
Oh, yeah. Well, we know everyone knows how much the oil companies make, how much they're worth.
Yeah, so Ford and AMC are usually late to the party for electric cars because they signed an agreement that said they wouldn't develop it.
For probably 50 years? Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. But I was watching a program about it as well, and there was a guy who found an original Ford from 1960.
Electric.
Electric.
Wow.
He found it in a barn.
Wow.
He took it home, cleaned it up, fixed it up, and he said it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And he put a solar panel on the roof, and he never had to charge it.
Yeah. The only thing is, that's amazing. And it kind of answers my next question. The only thing that is a bit like, I just don't really get it. So how long does it last? What if you know, where you park your car? Because I've got like a residence parking bit.
Yeah.
Is there going to be like 4 that I'm going to have to fight my neighbour for?
Yeah, well, this
no,
is
John,
it.
You've had 2 hours. Give me 2 hours now. We can,
Yeah.
you know.
The idea is apparently, I mean, I know if you buy a Tesla, they will come and install one from your house.
Oh, really? As part of the
As part of the
package?
deal. So they will come in and put a charging station in
Yeah.
your house, which is great. We've got one here at the college. In actual fact, we've got 1, 2, 4 bays at the
Right.
college that I know of.
So they are popping up slowly. I'm probably just not noticing them as much
They
as
are.
frequently.
Where I haven't seen one, which is quite shocking, is petrol station.
I've seen them in London.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Right. I haven't seen any out here. It's got to come to a point where supermarket
Yes.
car parks are going to have them. Listen, we're going to go all electric by 1930, is it, or 1940?
Well, we're in the 2000s.
2040,
so
sorry.
yeah.
Is it 2040?
I think they wanted 2030, but seemingly probably be 2040.
Yeah, so by 2040, all cars have got to be electric, which means that
We've got another 20 years, yeah.
every car park has got to have charging bays.
And enough.
Yes, every car space has got to have a charging bay, because that's the only way you're going to be able to run these things.
I think it's cool. I'm all for electric cars. What I'm not all for and don't see the need for is the self-driving car.
No, that's scary. That Tesla.
I'm just
is,
like, what on earth? Why? The only thing I can see that being beneficial for is like delivery drivers and lorry drivers.
Yeah.
So to save a human doing the long distance, a machine just does it.
Yeah.
I think they should have an electric, like non-driver lane.
Yeah.
With a massive wall above it to protect the rest of us, because
I was watching a video the other night.
Need?
Well, I was watching a video the other night, and a guy was in a Tesla.
Yeah.
Which apparently got the best system. And it was driving, and all of a sudden the brakes started to go on, and he couldn't work out why. And it was because a lorry was drifting over to his lane, and it actually caught the car in front. And the Tesla stopped. And he said, I would never have noticed that in time. So the car was quicker than he was in picking up a problem.
Wow. I mean, I do see it. I'm going to probably look back on this in like 20 years and be like, you idiot.
Yeah.
But I don't see that catching on.
Well,
because I saw something that was saying that, cars in 20, 30 years won't even have a steering wheel installed.
that's right. I heard that as well. But I wouldn't buy a car
But
without
I
a
think
steering wheel.
because people love the experience of actually driving a car, don't
Absolutely.
they? They don't want to be. A lot of people don't want to just be carted around.
No. I mean, the other thing is, if you're a petrol head like me, you like taking things apart. Like, I'm going to got my bike in a million bits.
Would
I'm
you get on a
rebuild
self-driving bike?
No. God, no.
I know, it just seems crazy, but
It's mad.
I'm telling you, I will be kicking ourselves in 20 years and thinking...
Yeah, we'd be saying it's cheap, it's economical, the maintenance is low, etc., etc. But if you're, like I said, like a petrol head like me, you want to get a carburettor on there and take it down and fix it when it goes wrong. That's the whole beauty of that sort of side of it. But if they get rid of that, if they get rid of petrol, then all these amazing old vehicles...
I really like Tesla's idea as well. Yeah, because what are they going to do? Like, my partner, he's really into his petrol head. He's really into, he's saying, I'm going to have a range of classic cars. And I was thinking, what's the point? Because you're not going to be able to drive them. Probably in 10 years, you're not even going to be able to drive them.
Yeah, possibly.
Unless you want to pay a hefty fine every time you hit the road.
Oh, yeah, they're going to... petrol cars...
Like they have in London.
The tax will go through the roof.
Diesel cars in London now, you can't go into central London. You've got to pay the...
Yeah,
the
diesel I
eco-charge.
understand.
Yeah.
Diesel because it's dirty.
But they'll do the same with petrol.
They will eventually.
Yeah.
But it's, if you pay per mile, which you do for petrol, if you think about it logically, you're paying per petrol, but it's per mile, then if you're prepared to run something that uses that petrol for, I don't know, £1 a mile, If you're going to go and do a 50-mile journey, it's going to cost you 50 quid.
Yeah.
Then if you're prepared to pay, then all well and good. But there you go. So, yeah, that was interesting. The other one I want to ask you is, have you ever heard of the Phobos cartel?
Phobos cartel? No.
No? Well, you're going to love this. They're a cartel of electric light bulb manufacturers.
Right.
All right? There's Philips, Osram, all of them are in this cartel.
Okay.
And they all developed, at one point, a light bulb that lasts forever.
Wow.
So you switch it on, switch it off, continue. It never breaks. It just continually works. However, Philips was the first one to do it.
Oh, right.
And they were going to put it on the market, and all the other manufacturers formed this cartel and said, look, if you do that, we're all going to go bust. So what we'll do is we'll agree to give you very small percentage off of our light bulbs.
Right. To sell on.
So
Is
that
this
you
real?
don't
Where's
sell.
the source
Yeah,
for
so
this?
you
Where
don't
does-
sell. There's actually there is a forever light bulb, as it was called.
Yeah.
There's a guy in, I think it's Manchester. He's got one.
Right. So
And
he
he-
actually got his hands. He must have
He
worked.
actually managed to get his hands on one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said he's had it since 1961 or something, and it's in his kitchen, and it's still working.
Wow.
So there is something to it. What it is, I don't know.
The
But
whole
They
thing.
formed a cartel,
Yeah,
so that
that's hilarious.
it's like the oil companies, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're all just getting together and
Well, the whole
we'll do
thing
this.
is, you know, when we talk about technology conspiracies, the whole concept of this advanced technology is a conspiracy, because this technology's been around or developed for way longer than I think people think.
Yeah.
I think it's common that everyone knows the military is 10 years ahead.
Oh yeah,
So their technology, you know, they've had drones and stuff they've been
Yeah.
developing for, well, 10 years ago now.
yeah.
Um,
Have you seen their invisibility technology?
No, but I think that's what I've been seeing on the videos I've been watching about the UFOs.
Right.
That's probably
This
what it
is
is.
what they've done is they've rigged a tank with masses and masses of tiny little LED TV screens on each side,
Yeah.
and on the front and on the back, and it's got cameras on the front, on the sides, and on the back. So what it does is, if you're looking at the front, the cameras are projecting what's at the back, so you see what's behind the tank on the front.
I'm going to have to look that up because
So
I can't get my head
It's almost like the tank isn't there,
really.
because you're looking at what's behind the tank, so you don't see
Right.
it.
That's my little pea
And
brain
it's
can't
just like,
comprehend that.
what? There's quite a few videos on YouTube's about it. The other thing is they've got a suit apparently which is made the same way. It's got cameras and screens on it, so the guy's standing there and you don't see him until he starts to move.
But what makes me really sad is it's all developed for war and
Yes.
killing and not anything productive, you know.
No.
It's,
There's no other use for
It
that.
makes me really sad that that's what we're wasting this technology on, because it's.
Yeah, but there's no other use for it. What are you going to
Yeah.
use it for?
But I mean, why are they developing things like that? Why are they not developing things that? Well, it all comes down to money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But,
The idea is apparently if you stand there with a gun, you can go up to the enemy, shoot and stand still and they can't see you. They
Yeah.
don't know where it's come from. And
That's-
same with the tanks.
and the drones.
And the
okay,
drones,
the face
yeah.
recognition drones that will just
Oh yeah.
pick you out of a crowd, even if you've had surgery or whatever. And you know what? There's a conspiracy that Facebook is working, and I believe it, because Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, he's a dodgy character.
Yeah.
And he may have started off innocent, but I think he's been brought into the dark side.
It's money.
Money, and probably he's been held ransom or being blackmailed or something. But yeah, he's definitely working on the dark side. Facebook's gone way out of his control.
Yep.
And it's been used for a lot of experiments that
Absolutely.
are going into developing technology. So there was this competition quiz type thing they were doing, a trend. What do you call it? Where it's
Trending?
like, oh, a picture of you now and a picture of you 10 years ago. So all these people were posting these funny pictures of themselves.
Right.
And what Facebook were actually doing was gathering that data, a third party agency, were gathering all that data to put it into developing face recognition.
Wow.
technology. So looking, you know, and we handed over the data unwillingly. People
Yeah.
didn't know, but that's what they're using.
Yeah.
That is what worries me. You know, I'm not a criminal, so I don't have anything to worry about in
Yep.
a sense, but I just don't like the fact that, you know, your face is everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a
I've-
Facebook account and Instagram account, but there's no photos of me on it.
Right.
They're all
But there'd be enough
different
of
things.
you, and there are photos of you on the internet, so there'd be enough on there to know
Yeah, they will be.
they could find you. But
Yeah.
the drone thing is scary again if it's developed for war. They're saying there's going to be a drone that can pick you out of a crowd and shoot something straight into your head.
Yeah.
No, and you just drop down. No one would even see it. Or
No, but drones do that anyway with missiles, don't they?
yeah,
I mean, drones are scary things. They really are.
yeah, they're terrifying. Imagine a fleet of drones just coming over and
Yeah, but the drones are getting smaller.
yeah,
They're getting smaller and smaller. There's one anti-personnel drone, which is what you were talking about, which has got a wingspan of about 1.5 feet,
wow.
which is like that.
Is
So
it silent though? Because that's the only
Yes.
thing that gives them away.
yeah, but it goes high enough for you not to hear it, and then it will just like take you out,
Yeah,
and it's scary. And they paint them the same colour as the sky. They're
Right.
like a bluey grey colour,
of course.
so you just don't see them.
Yeah, I think they'll take over. They'll take over a lot of jobs. Police. I mean, like, so yeah. For example, the
Jones
police
robot.
will use them.
Oh, the police will, yeah.
Yeah,
They got
they
to.
already do. I think I've been in a park before in Brixton, just chilling, and there's a drone flying over, and you can't see who's
Yeah,
doing it, but it's a good way of monitoring things. They could do it at festivals, you know,
Absolutely.
crowds, like.
Yep.
So again, people would say, "Oh, it's for your protection, it's for your safety," but is it?
yeah.
With your safety comes the price of giving up your privacy.
Yeah, I mean, I've got two drones,
Oh, have you?
two drones, yeah, and I had to recently apply for a license and take a test,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
to gain my license to fly a drone.
That's good. I didn't know you had to do that.
So that's
I'm
why you don't
happy.
see many of them flying around now,
Right.
and they're very cheap to buy
Yeah.
second hand because people just can't get a license or don't want a license, and you can't fly them where you used to be able to fly them.
Right.
You can't fly them within 150 feet of a person.
And what will happen? Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
God, see, if that got tangled in your hair.
exactly.
That's
So
why-
it's 150 feet away from
Yeah.
a crowd or a building. So if you think about it logically, you can't really fly the bloody things anywhere.
Yeah.
So
That's
you know,
good. I like that.
Yeah.
I think the thing with technology in advancing them, what I'm most looking forward to, but also a bit scared about, is like the nano
tech.
technology that they're going to be developing, mainly for medical.
Yeah, I love the idea
purposes.
of that.
I think that's really, really cool and futuristic and progressive.
Yeah,
So the idea is that you have little nanobots that go in there and kill off a tumour or
Yep.
you know, clear your
You program
your
to
arteries.
detect cancer and stuff, and it goes off and
Yeah.
finds any cancer cells or whatever and just destroys them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's brilliant.
The thing that's terrifying me though, because this is where it changes, and this is where people have to make decisions between being hybrid humans or, you know, and there's this great guy called Ben Gozel. He's called Ben Gozel. He's a little bit eccentric. He works for a company that developed the Sophia robot technology. You know, the
Oh,
first
the Sophia, the woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a really interesting guy, and he talks a lot about singularity, which we'll maybe end with. But he was saying that this technology, and Elon Musk is at a company's developing this.
Right.
These nano, what do we call them? Nano robots.
Nanobots, yeah.
Nanobots. Is that they will go into your brain as well, and
Yep.
you know, sort out the signals in your brain, so it will sort of get rid of any sort of mental illnesses that,
Yep.
that people have. But he was saying what they'll do is they'll sort of plant. You'll be able to have an implant in your brain where you have these patches where you can upload
Yep. Information.
information. So you think, oh, I've got a Spanish test coming on. Let me put my Spanish chip in, and automatically you'll be able to speak Spanish.
Yep.
You'll think, oh, well, you won't ever be down because you can program your brain not to be down.
Yep.
But you could think, oh, you need to stop eating this much, and you put the chip in.
Yeah.
So it's like we are going to be sort of, you know, if this is, and Elon Musk is developing this
Yep.
now.
Yeah, he is. I was watching an Horizon program some time ago about nanobots, and they were saying about you can program them to do anything. And they said, but the problem with that is you can also program these nanobots to sever a spinal cord.
Well, this is what I mean.
So they can kill you with these things as well. Once they're in your body,
they could also,
you know, they can get them
you.
to do exactly what they want them to do.
Exactly.
So, yeah, go and find a tumour, kill that. Oh, well, this guy's a bit of a naughty boy. Let's just
and it'll be a
him.
click of a button.
Yeah, it will be.
Just shut you down.
Yeah.
So this is the thing at the minute. This is why, you know, people are a bit nervous about getting vaccines at the minute because they don't know what's in them.
I don't think nanotechnology's there yet, to be honest, regardless of what you see on the internet.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's there yet.
I don't think it is.
However,
but a lot of people do, or maybe think that this could be the planting of activating the technology.
Yeah,
That's
well,
why a lot of people are a bit.
the coronavirus vaccine, as an example, is only going to be available to over 50s.
Yeah, so
and
you
it's
can
going to be
pick that.
It's going to be a particular group. So, you know, if you're talking about, let's say they put nanobots in now,
Yeah.
what's the advantage of having nanobots in a particular group
Well, you're
over
just
50?
basically guinea pigs. Because if it works, and it keeps you alive longer, and gets rid of things like Alzheimer's, dementia, then
Absolutely.
cool. If a couple of oldies die, well, it's not too suspicious because
No.
they were old anyway.
Yeah. I understand where you're
Just
coming
say,
from.
yeah.
But, yeah. But as soon as that virus, antivirus comes available, I'm having it.
So, well, yeah, I'll be interested to see how.
You know.
And after that, well, so you've got nanotechnology, but then you're going to have also external prosthetics, which is going to be
robots.
cool.
Yeah.
But then again, is it going to go one way or
won't
the other? Is it going to go Terminator?
It'd be cyborgs, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool, actually.
Because there was a documentary on Channel 4 with this scientist, and he got the same sort of thing that happened to Stephen Hawking. So it was this digressive illness where he basically, his body's shutting down,
right,
and he becomes paralysed. So he was like, well, I want to become a cyborg before that happens, so I can still live a life.
Right.
It didn't turn out as well as he had hoped.
Okay.
However, he did, because what he wanted to have was basically his face, an iPad type thing with his face on it.
Right.
And that moved with his expressions, because he's expressionless now.
Right.
He can only blink, really.
Okay.
And what they did do, which was pretty cool, was develop his speech.
Right.
So the voice that he was presenting sounded very much like him.
That's cool.
Yeah, he had something that he could stand up and sit down in, like by looking at it.
That's good.
So I mean, this technology is there.
Yeah.
But it's like what you said about the thing on the arm. That's really cool, and that's something that's gonna revolutionise a lot of things for.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, the robotic arms, legs, and stuff like that. I think they're great. It's when they stick it all together into one thing.
Yeah.
And turn it into a almost unidentical robot.
And I think
looks like us.
Yeah. And I think that's where we need to sort of go. All of these conversations always lead to the idea of singularity.
Yes.
Which is terrifying. And for those that don't know, singularity is the idea that robots teach AI intelligence sort of becomes more than our own.
Yeah. Self-aware
and robots essentially become self-aware.
Quicker. Yeah.
And they start teaching each other.
Yep.
They start teaching each other. And then humans are screwed because they'll be way more advanced. There's a suggestion that if that happens, when that happens, singularity, we will, these robots, AIs, whatever you want to call them, will be creating Nobel Prize winning things, ideas every 5 seconds.
Probably.
Yeah. And, you know, this person who I listen to, and all of the scientists I listen to that are dealing with robotics and things like that, they say the one thing when we design this intelligent AI is we need to lock it in a cage and not allow it access to the internet, because once it has access to the internet, it teaches itself everything there is to be taught already.
That's the Terminator theory, isn't it?
That's and
It's exactly what happened there.
it
Isn't
makes
it?
sense. Look what humans are teaching robots at the minute.
Yeah.
Humans are teaching robots how to collect data, how to spy on people, and how to kill.
Yeah.
So if we let these robots go off on their own and then self-teach themselves what we've taught them, it's not going to be good for humanity.
No.
They will be the next species.
Yeah.
And will be extinct within 100 years, I'd say.
Yeah. I like the spy flies. Have you seen those?
Not spy flies, but I've seen like the killer bees. There's an episode of Black Mirror where they've got the killer bees.
Oh, right. They've developed a thing that's about twice the size of a normal fly, but it's got cameras and microphones on it. So, and this thing, you can fly it like a drone to wherever you want. So you can fly it into somebody's house, sit it on a curtain, and it will just video and record everything that's going on there.
I mean, see, this is the thing, like, people are like, oh, I'm going to have an Alexa in my house because, you know, I don't care if she listens. What am I saying? I'm not a criminal, I'm not important. But I'm like, it's a snapshot of everybody that builds up the data and builds up this, like, hub of how we live.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I use Alexa to answer the doorbell, stuff like that.
But how do you know if someone's not watching your thing? What's the app called that you've got with the doorbell?
This is ring.com.
Ring.com. How do you know if someone's not watching your ring.com?
Well, the people at Ring can control it and watch it at any point they like.
Because I've always said that about CCTV. What
Yeah.
if someone that controls a CCTV station, whatever you call it, controls, is like a creepy stalker and gets obsessed with you?
Yeah.
And follows you everywhere you go and then
Yeah.
finds out where you live?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a plot for a film.
There is. I mean, this ring.com thing, I've been having a little bit of trouble with mine recently. And the woman I was on the phone to, she said, hang on a second. She said, can you push the doorbell? I said, yeah. She said, well, I can see you and I can hear you. And I thought to myself, okay, so you're controlling my ring.com.
Yeah.
You know, who else have you given that information to?
Yeah.
To access my doorbell?
And who knows when you're at work, what times, when you're at home.
Yep. So there's that to it. Having said that, the other night I watched two guys steal somebody's bike.
Really?
And they run past my door, yeah. So I've got the camera data, everything. So when we thought it was a woman 2 doors down whose bike it was, but it wasn't. It was obviously somebody else's. But it was still chained up, so they were running with it in chains right past the window. And I thought to myself, okay, that's interesting. It's like all Tesla cars have got cameras on them now.
Yes.
And they've also got sensor activated cameras. So if you go up to a Tesla car, it switches on all the cameras and starts recording.
Oof.
So if you try and steal one, which
Yeah.
apparently is almost impossible,
Yeah.
it records everything you're doing.
I mean, the whole CCTV has been brilliant in, like, solving murders, missing cases, like, you know, stopping crime. It doesn't stop it,
No.
but it makes it easier
To detect who's done it.
detect. But at the same time, we're being watched all the time.
Yeah.
We're being watched all
scary.
the time.
Even satellites can get down. Well, it's proof is in Google Earth, isn't it?
Yeah.
Satellites can get down to your shed. They can
There's
probably
been
get down to you.
The thing that scares me is that, like, people are just, you know, thinking, oh, this is so cool, like Alexa, because the next thing will be she'll turn your kettle on.
Yeah.
You still have to get up and make it. Because I'm not at the point yet where I see any use for it.
I think there are uses for it. It's like if you say to Alexa, you're at work and you're working late, you can say switch on the hall light, switch on the so and so light.
Yeah,
so
makes
people
sense.
think you're in. It's like a burglar, a deterrent thing.
Yeah. But the other scary thing, which I've been seeing more and more videos of, is people have, like baby monitors,
Yes.
but advanced ones now. So it's linked to that sort of
Yep.
Google Home thing.
Yep.
They're being hacked.
Oh yeah.
Saying to
they
the
are.
little girl, "Hello, friend," and this little girl sort of looking around. What on earth? She probably
Yeah.
didn't know there's a camera. Like, where's the line? Where do you draw the line?
Yeah. It is difficult, but unfortunately, until we get to a point where the technology is developed to stop all this, then we're going to go nowhere. I mean, that's the idea of firewalls, isn't it? Do you use a VPN when you're on a computer?
I don't know because
You should.
Yeah.
I know I'm
lazy.
I know I'm making an advert, but VPNs I think are
No,
really,
I
really
used
important.
Yeah. But I think, honestly, and I know I'm probably paranoid weirdo, but I think that Google's flagged some of the things I search.
Oh, it does. Every time you search something, it sends you back information you don't want
Yeah.
when you're looking at something else.
Because I remember, like, YouTube, I used to watch so many great documentaries on YouTube, and like you'd find so many like forums and stuff on Google where that just interested in talking about conspiracy and things like that. Can't find any of them anymore.
No.
And I don't know if it's just me
No,
because
they
I've looked
took-
too much and they flagged,
No.
or they've just washed everything.
What they did, apparently, it's like UFOs.
Yeah.
They dropped it right down the list. So
Yeah.
when you search UFO, you don't see, it doesn't report back hardly anything.
Yeah.
Because they don't see it as important. If you type conspiracies again, you don't get much
No, it will
coming
be
up.
fake news, fake this.
Absolutely. So they have controlled that. They have stopped that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
It's a shame. So I used to like look at so much interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
And also, what I've noticed is, I want to start using, because I remember at uni they taught us about using Tor. I thought, why would you want to use that? I can only imagine you using Tor, the .web for bad things, and
but
my
there's good
lecturer
things
was
on
saying,
there.
no, it just to protect yourself.
Yeah, security-wise, yeah.
Because Google, in terms of the internet, Google, what you can search on Google is the tip of the iceberg, quite
Yes.
literally.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Not even half the stuff, it's all regulated.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. And it's all paid for by advertisers.
Yeah. And they all work together now with one
Yeah.
company. So this is the thing that as well, like the technology is great, but it's about who controls it.
Yeah, and we don't.
We don't.
We don't.
I think the increase in all of these Alexa, the data collection on people is also because the government's a bit paranoid.
Yeah.
A lot of people are thinking things aren't right. They're not happy.
Yeah.
And the government's listening in and realising this. So
Yep. Which
they're increasing security for themselves.
Yeah.
And they'll tell you it's things, to protect you against crime, or we're using it to find terrorists. But
Yeah.
really, it's, I think, paranoia.
Yeah. I mean, the other thing is cabals. That's one of my favourite things at the moment, is
Yeah.
various different cabals.
Yes.
The first one, believe it or not, was in 1668,
Okay.
and it consisted of Lord Clifford, Earl Arlington, the Duke of Buckingham, Lord Ashley, and the Duke Lavendale. So if you put all their surnames together, it spells cabal. They were the
And that's
first
where
ones.
the word comes from. The cabal means
Yep.
like a secret group.
Yep, and it was Charles II of England who put them together. They were the Clarion Ministry, and they formed a cabal to
For what
do his
purpose?
biddings, what the king wanted. So they
Right.
were in Parliament. They would arrange for whatever he wanted to be done.
So is this your idea for our next show?
I don't know. Maybe it is. I mean, you got the Bilderberg Group, which you know about.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, everybody who's got money belongs to that.
Yeah.
How much of the world do they control? What do they do? I mean, I was quite shocked when I started researching cabals.
Well, this is my favourite subject.
Everyone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's a cabal for everything
Yeah.
and everyone.
There's a guy called, what is his name? He's called Justin.
Oh, that name rings a bell.
No, Jordan. He's called
Who am I thinking of?
Jordan something. And he's really interesting because he started as a innocent sort of tech startup company.
Right.
Then he developed loads and loads of good stuff. He's a genius, but he's also very like down to earth.
Yep.
So he got invited to all of these meetings, secret meetings and whatnot.
Okay.
And he's very open about it. There are secret meetings that happen.
Of course there is.
With select people.
Of course there is.
And he was sort of in with it for a bit. I'll find out his name. He's called Jordan something. He's considered one of the greatest brains of the minute.
Okay, that's cool.
So I can't remember his name. That's how great my brain is.
Are you recommending we do cabals next week?
I mean, it's my favourite subject: secret societies, world control, the new world order, etc., etc.
So do you want to go for that next week?
Yeah, I'm down. This is my favourite subject.
I've got some really obscure ones. They're really bizarre.
I think we need to talk about. Okay, cool. And maybe we can talk about the reasons why they have what they're up to, basically.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sounds good to me.
Does sound good, yeah. So cabals next week.
Yes.
I think we've covered the technology conspiracy.
I mean,
well,
technology.
there's
I could
millions
go on
of
for
them.
like days and days and days. So
Yeah,
I mean,
you
we've
can-
barely scratched the surface with.
Yeah, I mean, you can talk about moon landings and what happened there and what happened to the lost films. The rumour I'm hearing at the moment to do with the moon landings is that they actually had HD footage of it,
Right.
even back then.
Yeah.
But they've all gone missing.
Yeah.
Which is really, really bizarre.
Well, the moon's old news now. We're going to Mars, aren't we? Next.
We are supposed to be going to
maybe
Mars.
we'll have to
However,
do a follow-up space travel show.
However, they've got to go to the moon first to refuel and
I see.
recharge.
Yeah.
So it's a waypoint,
Yeah.
which is interesting in itself.
So much to talk about all the time.
I know. So, all right then. Well, thank you very much, Scarlett.
My pleasure.
I've enjoyed today.
Me too.
I really
always enjoy a Thursday.
Matt, if you're listening, we miss you. Whatever it is you're up to, stop it and get back here.
Yes.
Yeah, I quite look forward to next week now. So, cabals it is. Scarlett, what can I say?
Adios for now, and we will see you next week.
Absolutely. Have a good day.
You could say have a good
world.
Christmas.
I was going to have a good. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Yeah, a little bit early. Have a good end of November. How's that?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, we'll see you all next week. Have a good one.
See you. Bye.
You're listening to Down the Rabbit Hole with Scarlet Squire, Matthew Webster, and Dr. Den.
I've been having dreams, jumping on a trampoline, flipping in the air. I never land, just float there. As I'm looking up, suddenly the sky erupts. Flames alert the trees, spread to fallen leaves. Now they're right upon me. Wait, if I'm on fire, how am I so deep in love? When I dream of dying, I never feel so loved. I've been having dreams, splashing in the summer street, tripping, I fall in. I wanted it to happen. My body turns to ice, crushing weight of paradise. Solid block of gold, lying in the cold. I feel right. Wait, if I'm on fire, how am I so deep in love? When I dream of dying, I never feel so loved. Wait, if I'm on fire, how am I so deep in love? When I dream of dying, I never feel so loved.
next 30 minutes.